Yo, what's happening? It's your boy Mickey Cartel, and we're back with another episode of the Dead Homies and Enemies podcast. Got a couple of the homies with me. You know what I'm saying? I got John, head of the NPH. New NBPH.
The National MOD of the People of Black Panther Party.
National MOD. That's how I said it? I said it right.
For the People's Party.
For the People's Party. And I got my nigga AP. You know what I'm saying? What's your organization? Or business?
My company is AJP Graphics Group. And I have a clothing brand, Flying Line Clothing Company. That's my brand.
Yeah, man, we just, you know what I'm saying, on my podcast, man, we just be chilling. You know what I'm saying? We just be talking about shit. You know what I'm saying? It ain't really no main topic or points or nothing like that we trying to hit. We just be chilling. You know what I'm saying? Trying to give people information. It's an information thing. And right now we at a point where we trying to organize for my brother Lee Merritt. You know, he's running for Texas Attorney General. And he wants to put all his soldiers in place, put everybody in position. And it's not for everybody to know all the positions. You know what I'm saying? Certain information is privy to only the inside. But, you know, at the same time, we want to let everybody know that that we strong out here and got a whole lot of shit in the works.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? I know one of my main things as far as like, I'm always a creative. Somebody got a lighter?
You had mine, you gonna walk out with. Nah, you gave it back. You gave it back that time.
Yeah, man, I'm gonna get something back.
For the first time.
I want to give a shout out to Slick. That's John's brother, man. Good looking. Oh, now I call him Slick. His name is
Hit Turn Up.
Hit Turn Up. Y'all need to go fuck with Hit Turn Up on Spotify. He got a gang of songs, but I'm rocking with one right now called Slick. That's why I said Slick. I ain't even met bro yet, but I already feel like I know him. The nigga sold me some gas.
Loud thing.
That shit had a nigga in a coma.
I told you. Talking about what you know about it. You don't smoke. Hey. Like he told you. He know.
I didn't believe you, bro. I was like, yeah, man. Everybody call that shit exotic. You got some exotic. I don't want to give you nothing that's gonna get you too fucked up, man. Nigga, bring whatever, bro. Yes, I ain't met a nigga in Texas yet with some exotic. I know now. I know one now. But AP, I feel like the history that you and my little brother got is so, that shit deep. I heard you talking about it earlier today. I ain't never thought about it like that until you were talking about it earlier today. I couldn't really respond because I was stuck and I was listening. And you said, you knocked the nigga out in Atlanta and ended up doing some time.
Yeah, man. It's I met Stacy. I met Lee in my freshman year. Was at Morehouse. We both stayed in Hubert Hall, like. And I mean, like, you know, niggas in school and you know what I'm saying? Like, when you coming from the crib, it's like, I guess it may not apply to all Morehouse niggas, but to some extent, you know what I'm saying? But, like, I know for me and Lee in particular, like, coming from the crib, like, we had our hood partners, you know what I'm saying, niggas from the block like that. And then we was the ones that, you know, quote unquote made it to the next level, going to school, doing the good shit like that, and realizing that it was more people just like us out there, like more real niggas, more authentic niggas that had a desire to really, you know what I'm saying, be on a progressive thinking and stuff like that. And not that it made us any different from our partners, but you know, everybody done take the, you know what I'm saying, chance to really step out there and like, you know go see what the next level look like. And that was one of the things that, you know what I'm saying, me and Leaper had clicked on like that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He was a tall nigga, you know what I'm saying, he had size like that, played football like that. And when we met in the gym, we stayed on the same floor, but we started chopping it up because I seen that nigga in the gym. And I was putting up like 300. We was young, like, 18 years old, like benching 300. And that's when we really started, you know what I'm saying, getting tight like that. Like that whole first year, I knew it was something different about him in terms of like, him being from the street, having that real G code, you know what I'm saying? Having an understanding of who God is in his life. And then he, I wasn't to the same extent as he was, but that nigga was always pro-black, you know what I'm saying? Wanted to build the people up like that. I didn't really understand it at the time, but, I do understand, like, that's just something that's inside a nigga, like, that's his calling like that. He was organizing, SG president and all that. And,
so before you ended up in Morehouse, you were living in Chicago?
I was born in Georgia. I was raised in Chicago. Yeah. South Side.
Well, you got a scholarship or something?
Yeah, I got a scholarship. It was an academic scholarship. And that's the only reason why I went to Morehouse, because I didn't get accepted nowhere else. That was the first acceptance letter I got, and then I had the full ride. And as soon as I accepted that shit, that's when the other letters started coming in. I wanted to go to
from other schools.
Yeah, my first choice was
Tennessee
Tennessee State.
Already accepted it.
That's what it was.
You would have had your choice. Which one you would have?
Tennessee State, man. I was set on Tennessee State, and then I had another partner. I went to this boarding school in Andover, Massachusetts, and this dude by name Tremute. You know what I'm saying? He graduated the year before me, and he went to Morehouse. And you know what I'm saying? He told me he told me to come down there and kick it one weekend. So I did, and that's what really kind of made up my mind, like, all right, it's a good look for me. Not even knowing, like, the culture of the school like that. And I guess I would talk about the incident or whatever, or the fight or whatever like that. But Morehouse, that shit, you know what I'm saying? Real pro-black. Yeah. Like historically, all that shit like that. But they had a lot of gay niggas, like, you know what I'm saying? And it ain't, that's what you choose to do. That's cool, my nigga, like that. But that was a dynamic that, you know what I'm saying, I didn't see every day growing up, you know what I'm saying, from where I'm from in Chicago like that. Yeah. So it's not that I wasn't aware of it, but like living in close quarters, accepting people's different styles of living and shit like that, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't like a shocker to me, but like that's how, my incident happened or whatever. Nigga tried me.
Was a gay nigga?
Yeah, nigga. I guess to express the whole dynamic of it. My sophomore year, I'm saying freshman year, everything cool. I did pretty good in my grades, you know what I'm saying, everything like that. So, pops let me bring my whip down. So I'm really hitting my stride like that, really coming into myself. Keep in mind I'm 18. I had just turned 19 and stuff like that. I was in Brazil Hall, and it was on a Sunday. It was getting up. I had made up my mind. I was like, man, I'm finna go to church. You know what I'm saying? Nigga wanna go to church and all like that. Going there in the shower like that, washing up and stuff like that. And this big tall ass nigga. I turn around, I see a nigga watching me, peeking over the shower curtain like that.
Oh hell no!
And I'm like, nigga, what the fuck, like. You know what I'm saying? So me and the nigga started jaw jabbing. We exchanged words. I cussed the nigga out like that. And he, gets into the they got the sections off and stuff like that. And keep in mind, nigga like 6'4", 6'5", like that. I'm 5'3". I say I'm 5'5", but it is what it is.
He say he 5'5", bro. Yeah, he say he gonna give him 2 more. Yeah, it ain't nothing you can do about it. He say with his shoes on, you heard him?
But just keep that perspective in mind. You know
what I'm saying? I'm watching tall ass dude. Yeah.
Motherfucker, I turn around and catch you watching me. Fuck, nigga, you tripping, boy? Like,
like what you doing?
So the exchange happened. you know, I ain't gonna say I blacked out or I didn't know what I was doing. I knew what I was doing. It was just a bad decision, like, cause I decided I was like, man, I ain't gonna let no nigga try me like that. I went back to my dorm room and I got a little T-ball bat. You know what I'm saying? About, you know, like size uniform, like the Braves. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if y'all.
Yeah, like the fan bags. You know what I'm saying? You buy in the trophy shop.
It's a little bit bigger than
the
that.
wood bags.
It's a little wood T-ball bat.
Yeah.
A souvenir bat type like that. So I grabbed that. I don't know how I had it in the closet. It was in my car or something like that. And when I was moving my shit in, I put it in my closet. And I grabbed that motherfucker, went back into the bathroom, and the nigga was still in the shower. So I went to the curtain. I was like, you know, I'm gonna check this nigga, man. The motherfucker trying me with that bullshit. So I hit the curtain with the I said, hey, fuck nigga, hey. And the nigga jumped out. You know what I'm saying? Nigga jumped out. He swung at me and, you know, caught me in the lip like that. He punched me in my lip. And, like, you know, I didn't know it until after the fact, but the inside of my lip was cut. And, like, you know, I bagged back. And, you know what I'm saying, the nigga's coming at me like that. So I stepped back and I hit him one time in the shoulder. Then the second time I hit him, like, you know, caught him clean on the side of his head like that. And nigga fell face first onto the tile floor like that. And then, like, I was like, fuck, like, did I kill this nigga? Like, you know what I'm saying?
That nigga was laying there.
The nigga was out, bro. Like, face first, like, I was like, oh shit. So
was it the public restroom?
It's the
dorm.
dorm.
Oh, the dorm. Yeah.
So I was like, oh shit, like, I ain't checking a nigga like that. I was mad, you know, going into that motherfucker, but I didn't expect me to, you know, knock this nigga out like that. So I run back to the room, I was like, fuck, man, like, damn, I thought I killed this nigga. So the first person I called was Stacy. And, like, you know, not even, like, 2 minutes later, like, that nigga had, you know, came to the, you know what I'm saying, he came in the room, beat on the door, like, hey, what the fuck, like, you know, what's up, nigga, we finna fight. Because I told him I got into a fight, and he thinking, like, we finna have to squab somebody. And I told him the situation. I was like, man, just go check in the bathroom, sit the nigga, you know, if he's still laid out. So he went to the bathroom, and he came back, he's like, what the fuck you talking about? Like, you know, wasn't nobody in there, it's just a couple of drops of blood on the floor. And I told, you know, get him run down the story like that. Long story short, the nigga got knocked out. He got himself up, got dressed, took himself to you know, they got the little medical thing on campus.
Yeah.
And then they, you know, called an ambulance and shit like that.
He told him.
He said the nigga was 5'10" and had on a multicolored shirt and an afro. Ain't no way you can mistake me for no 5'10", and I had a gray army t-shirt on. Like that. So I feel like, you know, the nigga never wanted.
He wasn't trying to get you in trouble.
He had to say something.
Now his excuse was, this is, you know, how the shit. Well, I get to that point. So nobody knew it was me. 12 wasn't looking for me. You know, nobody other than a couple of niggas. You know what I'm saying, that I fuck with. Like, you know what I'm saying, like when I called Stacy over. He took me out my dorm room. We went to his room. He told me to write down everything that happened. We prayed, and then, like, he said, just chill. You know what I'm saying? We went to the chow hall. Went in at 8. Then we went back to his room and I took a nap. And that nigga was gone somewhere. And so, like, when I got up, I was like, shit, man, I'm finna smoke. And I called my partner Mac up. We had smoked a blunt. And then, like, word started getting around. It's like, yo, that nigga AP just, you know what I'm saying, killed the nigga. Or sent the nigga to the hospital. Or the nigga's finna die. I started hearing these rumors and shit like that. And then that's when I called my pops. And then he told you know, me and Stacy, like, you know, just get off campus like that. He'll be down there. So he, you know, I called my aunt and I went to her crib like that. And then my dad came like the next day. I think it was like Tuesday. He didn't come Monday. I was at my aunt's house on Monday and he came like Tuesday. And like, motherfuckers was telling me like the nigga almost died. He had a upper door hematoma. Like, when he hit his head, like, he had swelling on the brain, and they had to, like, you know, they cut a big ass scar across his head to drain the fluid and shit like that. So, like, my dad told me, it's like, so basically, you know, his understanding was like, so damn, youngster, you just got into a fight. And I'm like, I guess, like, they told me the nigga was fucked up, but he ain't dead. So it's like, you gotta tell him what happened. You know, this is my dad telling me, like, you know, my dad was a preacher and stuff like that. He's like, you gotta do the right thing. You know what I'm saying, turn yourself in, explain yourself. It was just a fight, like that. So I went and turned myself in, and it's like, oh man, you know, this is what the police was saying to me, and you know, the initial like arrest record said, you know, they wrote down the whole story like that, and then it was like, well, it's just a simple battery, you know what I'm saying, because he had a physical injury like that. That's what the charge was. So like that day, I got booked into Fulton County. I went in by like 12 noon. I didn't get out till about like 2 in the morning. You know what I'm saying? And that shit was just like, you know, just imagine like I said, I wasn't green, but I ain't never been locked up before. Like I left the campus and went to Rice Street. And you know what I'm saying? Rice Street worse than, you know, Fulton County Jail worse than some chain gangs and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? It's a fucking jungle in there like that. You know, just being in the holding tanks like that. That shit was, you know, hell for a young nigga like that. You know.
Yeah. So if you would have never told on yourself, they probably would never even.
They wouldn't have. Based on his description, and obviously my partners wouldn't finna say shit like that. You know what I'm saying?
When you be looking back at it, you be like kind of regret, like, oh, I should never said nothing. I should just let them folks find.
I mean, I think about that. And me and my dad passed away when I was in jail. Like we used to talk about that. I don't know because like I'm doing the right thing. Like that's how he raised me to do.
Yeah.
But if I had known like the criminal justice system, hell no, I want to turn myself in. Like I never did that shit. You know
I know you would never thought they were trying to hand out that kind of time. If anything, first offense. You ain't even a felon. You know what I'm saying?
First offense. So now people how the shit played out. So then the motherfucking after I bonded out, I asked they had the arraignment hearing and stuff like that. You enter your initial plea, and my initial charge I pleaded not guilty. Like so I don't remember what I pled like that. With no contest. I think it was no contest because I ain't had no lawyer. And then we got a lawyer, and that was the initial charge. But when the DA picked up the charge, they changed the charge from a simple battery to an aggravated assault, aggravated battery. And then they added a hate crime. It was the first hate crime trial in Georgia.
What? They turned it into a hate crime?
Yeah, because they said I beat the nigga up because he was gay. Like that.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? I ain't know this nigga. I ain't never seen him. I ain't know his name. Like, you know, but my mindset was like, hey nigga, you ain't finna free pick me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't give a fuck, you know, what your preference is. Like, don't bring that shit over here.
Right.
And that was my mindset, but the state, you know, needed to use an example to push the hate crime bill like that.
Wow.
So it was Paul Howard, the DA. Then it was a senator named Vincent Ford, who was like one of the writers of the law. Like they was like, nah, this is a case that we want to put that shit out there. And that's the only reason why it became like national news, because of the gay niggas at Morehouse, the gay niggas in Atlanta, and which again, like, you know, you're gonna be gay, that's fine, but like, why would you use that situation to really, you know what I'm saying?
They want to build a narrative.
Right. So that's how the trial or my case developed into what it is.
Trying to use you as an example.
Yeah, I don't know if it could.
It was a message.
But that was the start of that shit, bro.
You still going? That's a crazy story, bro. What year was that?
That was I beat that nigga up in 2002, and then the trial happened in March, April 2003.
Damn, I was sophomore in high school.
Yeah, that's when I think I got sentenced either April or May, but the last day of the trial was like in May. And the trial was like a week and a half, almost 2 weeks. You know what I'm saying? I had my girl with me, and she was from LA. She was with me and shit like that. I'm thinking like, you know, the last day of the trial, they gonna send a plea and I'm gonna go home and, you know, have some kind of probation type shit like that. Nah, man. I ate lunch with my dad and my mom and my girl. You know what I'm saying? I had some family members there. they read the verdict and shit like that, everybody came back guilty. And like I didn't know nothing about the court system and the law and all that shit like that. And that shit fucked my head up, bro. Like you know what I'm saying? Being in the free world shit. And then an hour later, like, bro, you just told me 10 years. Like, you know what I mean? And the only reason why the judge sentenced that, because, you know, even in the transcripts, they got it, you know, the nigga said he was mad because we didn't take it serious. I had got another lawyer, like, right before I was going to take the plea because my mom wouldn't let me, you know what I'm saying, take a plea of 10 to do 5 like that. And,
what was the plea? 5 years?
10 to serve 5. That was the best. That was the initial
10.
It was a 10-year sentence, you know, certified and whatever else like that. But had I taken that plea, I didn't know this after the fact that my first lawyers worked out with the judge. All that shit was gonna be for show. I would have done, you know, 90 days in the county jail, and then they would have came back with a, you know, a sentence appeal hearing and gave me probation. But they didn't tell me that. They didn't tell my dad that. Then it was mad at me because I got another lawyer and I took that shit to trial. So they was like, that's why the judge sentenced me like that, you know.
That's just another example of a nigga getting railroaded by the system.
First offense, you know what I'm saying? Like, I was, you know what I'm saying? I was a good nigga growing up, you know what I'm saying? Schoolboy type shit like that. I had, you know, good grades, all that, you know, 3-point-something GPA, like 3.4, something like that. And all my accomplishment, all the high school shit, you know, none of that even mattered. Like, they didn't get no fuck. Like, they don't consider that when they, you know, gave the sentence. They knew they had to make an example for the purposes of that law.
All the newspapers and cameras watching this shit.
Right. And now I ain't gonna take away the responsibility is mine because, like I said, I ain't make a mistake. I just made a bad decision. Like, I wanted to go straight in that nigga. You know what I'm saying? And that was the wrong decision in response to, you know, something that happened to me like that. You know.
He showed up and testified.
Yeah.
Did he admit that he was looking at you over the thing?
So we had to investigate same way bro doing this shit. Like, he was with me like through the whole process. Like, my lawyer interviewed him. We had to go get his computer. Like that nigga was, you know what I'm saying? I'm talking about right with me. Like, my dad, you know, like when he came in the city, like that was the first person I hit up and we would ride, talk. You know what I'm saying? My dad was a Q and stuff like that, so he'll put us up on game about pledging. How to, you know, talk to the bros and all that like that. And he, you know, just gave us lessons about life and stuff, you know what I'm saying? But,
you remember your first day stepping into the pen?
yeah.
Like, after you get sentenced.
Check this out, after I got sentenced, you know what I'm saying, they didn't, you know, you ain't really supposed to see your family and stuff like that, but I got sentenced. He said, it's a 10-year sentence, you know, under Georgia state law, whatever like that, and it's a violent charge, so you got to do 90%. You know, based on the Georgia law, you have to do 90% of your time like that. And so I'm thinking in my mind like, this shit can't be right. But in the courtroom, when they put the cuffs on me, and I turned around and looked at my dad like, hey man, what the fuck they doing? Like, this shit ain't, you know what I'm saying? He couldn't say nothing, I couldn't say nothing, but they let him come in the back. You know, once they usher a motherfucker out like that, it's basically just holding cells back there, you know what I'm saying? And we was standing in the hallway and stuff like that. It was 3 deputies around us and stuff like that. They took my tie out, searched me, all of my shit like that, you know what I'm saying? And my dad got mad, like, you know, don't touch my fucking son. Like, you know, he had that look on his face like that. And then, like, you know, we couldn't say, they let him come back there and see me, and he just couldn't say nothing. I couldn't say nothing either. We just looked at each other. And he just gave me this look like, shit, man, you do what you gotta do, like, you know, be a man, like, and you know what I'm saying? Like, when I left the courthouse, the motherfuckers was having a press conference in the front, like, the news cameras is, you know what I'm saying, watching me pass by in the squad car. I'm in the back of the squad car with my shirt and tie and shit on, like, man, this some fucking bullshit, like, you know what I'm saying? That shit, like, was crazy, bro, like.
Nigga just took your whole life and spent it. Turned it into a whole story, a nationwide story. This is the gay basher.
And I never got a chance to, like, really defend myself. I testified and stuff like that. I should have never testified, but I never got a chance to defend myself or to explain myself like I'm doing now, like that. You know, for years, I don't think I actually did it to nobody other than, you know, they really know me like that. You know, people don't really know my side of the story per se.
Yeah, all they know is what they heard.
Right. But that shit changed my life, man. And you know.
You did the whole time in one prison? Or did you switch, go to different ones?
I went to a couple different camps. I did, like, when I first got locked up, like, for me, Rice, you know, Fulton County was harder than, like prison and stuff like that, just because there's so many niggas. I mean, talking about seeing all that wild shit niggas see on TV and all that.
Yeah.
You know, motherfuckers are, like, they had, you know, light fixtures that be attached to the wall. Motherfuckers will break the, you know, they got that hard plastic in there, wedge them bitches off and make shitties out of that. And, like, you know, I see niggas get chopped up, you know what I'm saying, thrown out balconies, niggas trying to kill themselves and all that stuff like that. And then when I first got in, like, they had put me on, like, suicide watch, because, you know what I'm saying, it's like, well, you know, this protective custody, basically, like that. So I was 23 and 1, so I was in a little cell, like, maybe like 4x6, like that. 23 hours a day. I got 1 hour to take a shower and use the phone. That shit was harder than fucking, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, that shit crazy. Like especially for a motherfucker you ain't never even been to jail before.
Yeah, nah.
Like,
I ain't never really been in no trouble. I mean, I got suspended a couple times in high school, but I ain't never been in no real trouble for fighting and shit.
Yeah, like usually motherfuckers got to get conditioned and worked up to prison, you know what I'm saying? Go to jail for a month, maybe a couple of weeks, you know what I'm saying? Then you get in trouble again, you go to jail for maybe 6 months, and then you get in trouble again, you get a year in the county. They bypassed all that shit for you, nigga. That shit was straight to TV.
This shit will make you or break you, man. Like,
I can imagine what that could do to the psyche.
I think, yeah, and that's what I'm saying. The main thing is your mind. If you ain't got no strong mind, like, niggas run all kind of game in prison. Like, so if you don't have no identity or no strong mind, you're gonna attach yourself to somebody that you think got your best interest, but ain't no love in that shit, man. Like, I just seen it happen too many times. Like, ain't no love in there. You know what I'm saying?
How was they politics in Georgia prison? Like, did they have gangs and shit, or it was just more like cliques? Like, what city you from?
It was more cliques like that. Like in, like, you know, Atlanta's a big city like that. So Atlanta niggas, you know, they operate differently from, like, you know, Rome niggas, Savannah niggas, Columbus niggas, and, like, when you get to diagnostics, like, all them niggas be there like that. You know what I'm saying? The niggas, the black people run that shit, like the fucking Aryan Nation and all that bullshit, the TV shit. It may be like that in certain camps, but nah, niggas run that shit.
Yeah,
the white boys be, you know, paying motherfuckers to, you know, keep niggas off their ass like that. Like, I done seen that, you know what I'm saying? Putting the boot game on them, had their families putting money on other niggas' commissary and stuff like that.
That's how I was.
Making them, a white boy kid, you feel like your commissary went to the bubble for him, and they give a nigga a bubble for him, he fell out $50 worth of shit, give it back to the white boy, and they, you know what I'm saying?
That's what I noticed with down south, the difference between, like, being locked up down south and being locked up on the west coast. Like, down south, it seemed like as soon as, like, you see a white boy coming through the gate, niggas was already on him, like, yeah,
it's a target,
well, get him, woo, 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 woo.
I mean, and keep in mind, like, that's how it was for me. But if my case went on the news like that, like, it was the trustee that used to do take niggas' clothes in the intake. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was getting shipped down the road. Like, when I left Fulton County I went to Jackson State Prison. That was the first, like, main chain gang I went to.
Yeah.
And it's either Jackson or I can't remember, but I think it was Jackson. But we was on the bus together like that. You know, God sent people in your life like that, but that nigga gave me the whole rundown as far as, like, how to carry myself, how to operate. Don't be buying no whole bunch of stove goods and shit like that, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I ain't taking nothing from nobody.
Yeah, You know,
no free shit.
Don't fuck with nobody. Like, don't fuck with the COs. And they had bitches in there. You know what I'm saying? Niggas be jugging at the hoes like that, but hoes, you know, turn a nigga set them up. You know, fuck up they time and shit like that. Get them sent to the hole. Like all that shit. Like it's it's just a different world, bro. Like, and people doing their life, like, 13, 15, 20 years, murders, robbers, and all that shit. All them niggas in the same, you know what I'm saying? Like 60-man dome type shit like that. It's a jungle, bro.
It's a jungle sometimes. Sometimes they make it
Don't push me.
What like, what's y'all impression of, like, prison and jail and stuff like that?
Yeah, like I was saying, like, I know down south, like, them motherfuckers, like, it's like you were saying, like, niggas, I remember niggas used to target them white boys and shit, but on the West Coast, that's where you got, like, the Aryan Nations and, like, the motherfuckers got a little power, you know what I'm saying? Like, everybody, the politics is different, everybody got a clique, you know what I'm saying? Like, you can't
It's about
just be...
survival, man. You gotta do what you gotta do.
You can't just be running up on anybody, just stabbing them, and none of that. You gotta have permission. It's always a meeting before somebody get knocked over. You know what I'm saying? I don't know about down south. I ain't never been to prison down south, but I know the jails was crazy like that. I mean, but on the West, everything was like organized. Like, you ain't finna just be like, if you run up on a white boy and beat his ass, then your niggas gonna beat your ass because nigga, you supposed to have got permission. You know what I'm saying, to do that.
Instruction, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, but another thing too, you know what I'm saying? I do understand it, I haven't gone through it, but like, niggas wear that shit as a badge of honor, like, and like, even me, I mean, I still do it to this day, and I know niggas do it to me, like, but you give the nigga that street nod, like, oh, bro, you did some time, like, you made it out that shit, you still a solid nigga, like, shit, you know what I'm saying? I tip my hat to you, like, but there ain't nothing to really be proud about, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I made a bad decision, I made a mistake that took 5 years out of my life type, you know what I'm saying? Like, and yeah, I made it through it, I came out, hard, but
you can't be proud of making it out, you know what I'm saying, and
right.
being able to tell that story
right.
for the next motherfucker who's
Cool.
probably going through the same thing right now, you know what I'm saying, and you hear your story about how you made it out and how you stay focused.
Yeah. And that's the main thing, like, it should sound like cliche, don't do your time, don't let your time do you, and like, your mind can play tricks on you if you don't apply yourself or like do something, I'm saying, while you're locked up. My thing became like working out.
Yeah.
Like doing 500 push-ups a day, then hitting the rec yard. I had that violent charge, you know what I'm saying? So I couldn't get no, once I left the state prison, I went to this county camp. And I got to the county camp, I think I was 3 years in. And then a few months after that, I went back on appeal for a sentence reduction hearing. And then at the sentence reduction hearing, the judge reduced my sentence to 7 years. And then that's how I got out at 5 like that, because I was eligible for parole.
Yeah, thank God for that.
Yeah, so, but like keeping your mind occupied, you know what I'm saying? Like working out, that was it for me, I was already on that shit, playing football in high school and shit like that. I was still touching the iron in college. But like I had to work in the kit. Well, first I was a dorm orderly, because I, was going back on appeal and shit like that. So, and I couldn't handle outside detail. They said I was a flight risk because I had family in Chicago and my daddy was this, big time preacher or whatever like that. So they, play all kind of bullshit games like that. But you cramped up in the fucking building, you know what I'm saying? That shit ain't.
Yeah, that shit hard as fuck doing. I mean, like I couldn't even focus on working out unless I was outside on the yard. But inside, you spend most of your time inside the cell, and I didn't like that working out in the cell shit, man. That shit, man, you get hot. We didn't have no AC.
The main reason I started working out is about respect. Like that became the biggest thing for me. Is like, people didn't necessarily disrespect me. They just knew me from, oh, I seen that nigga case on the news type shit. But like the niggas in the chain gang that ran the dorms, all them niggas, you know what I'm saying, was yoked out, was full, talk cash shit, like, you know what I'm saying, they come in the door, you know not to fuck with them, they just had that, you know what I'm saying, and even when, you know, niggas be fighting and shit like that, you know what I'm saying, niggas, you know, put your lock in the, you know, lock sock type shit, or put your lock on the belt, squabbing niggas in their sleep, hit niggas in the head with motherfuckers while they, you know, lay out on bunk type shit like that. I was like, man, that shit ain't happening to me, bro. I was like, you don't have to kill me, nigga. Like, when I made up my mind, I wanted to present myself in a way that's gonna be automatically respected. And that's what I knew, like, motherfuckers fuck with you when you know, push a lot of weight and shit like that, you know.
Something about that, but niggas be in there stealing and shit.
Yeah.
Take your whole box. West ain't the niggas ain't condone stealing. Stealing.
Yeah, like I said, ain't no love in that motherfucking man.
Sure, ain't no love out here. Period.
No love out here, man. Yeah. Well, we're gonna wrap up this episode of the Dead Homies and Enemies podcast, man. We appreciate you sharing your story, AP. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know,
It's the first time I had talked about it like that, too. But real talk, I appreciate it, too.
yeah, man, I appreciate you sharing that.
For sure.
Yeah.
It goes to show how you can just overcome if you got a strong mind, like you said. You gotta have a strong mind like that, you know what I'm saying? You came out, you didn't have no excuses.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You know what you had to do in order to survive and defeat the trials and tribulations within reality. And you made that shit happen. You ain't feel sorry for yourself. You took your shit like a man. You did it. You didn't make no mistake. You just made a bad choice. You know what I'm saying? And that's the main thing that you said that a lot of people need to take heed to. You know what I'm saying? You didn't make no mistake. You just made a bad choice. You know what I'm saying? And you acknowledge that. You own up to it. You did your thing. And you use it as a learning tool.
See, another thing too is like, one of the reasons I ain't never really talked about it is because like I don't really.
Niggas ain't no. You gotta be around people on your level.
But I don't want people, like if you ask anybody from Morehouse, and say, oh, you remember that nigga AP? They gonna say, oh, you talking about the nigga that, you know, beat the nigga up with the bat? Like,
yeah.
I don't want to be known for that.
Yeah.
Like,
Don't know me for what I used to do. Know me for who I am.
And so I feel like now, like after that, my lifestyle is like, all right, damn, I gotta make myself.
Yeah. You have to reclaim your name, man.
You know what I'm saying?
And restore the broken pieces.
Right. But a lot of that was just like character, like me, like not falling into the, like you said, a strong mind like that. Being around people, and you know, I'm gonna be straight. I ain't make all the good choices and stuff. Especially after my dad died like that, you know, I turned, you know what I'm saying, like drugs and, you know, that nightlife and that fast life and shit like that. Once I got out parole, like, bro, I was wild the fuck over, man.
But look at you now.
You know, I can only say God is the only thing that, you know what I'm saying, put me in a position to have, like you saying, like, had an understanding, like, you know what I'm saying.
See, what I learned as a creator of all creations, put it out there for you. And when you grow, you connect the dots and reel in what's meant for you to catch.
Right.
So you just gotta be patient. And you know, it remind me about a story I used to, because you know I graduated from a Baptist university, you know what I'm saying? And it reminded me of a story I used to hear about a man that went to heaven and he was getting a tour. And he seen all these buildings and the letters, it had like letters on the building, like A through C, you know what I'm saying, D through F. And the man was like, what's that? He was like, those storage buildings. He was like, it got people's names on it. And then he saw one with his name on it. And he was like, what's this? He was like, a man asked me, you want to go in there? He said, yeah. So they went in that building where it had his name on it. And he saw all these boxes that was like stacked neatly. And then he was like, what's this? He was like, that's all the stuff that the creator of all creations created for you. You just didn't ask for it.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like in Ephesians, it say, before you know what I'm saying, before your beginning of times, you was marked and stamped with a seal. You was predestined. You know what I'm saying? It's like we don't know what our purpose is, but we gotta play this game until we find it. And then when we find it, it's up to us to perfect it.
I feel like, and that's when I started believing that about myself. I started searching that. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's how. But I realized, like, you know, in praying and stuff like that, like, God put your future in one place, you can't miss it.
Yeah.
And that's inside of you.
Right,
like,
right.
I kept looking for outside motherfuckers to validate me and show me, but I already had that shit inside like that.
Yeah, because you know our soul is trapped within our flesh.
Right.
We can only obtain so much because our flesh can only hold so much.
That's right.
But then when our flesh no longer, you know what I'm saying, when our flesh aspires and has no, and can no longer function on top of earth, that's when we begin to live because our soul free. You know what I'm saying?
That's powerful.
That's like what Uncle Tom said. You know, a lot of people look at Uncle Tom and hear Uncle Tom, but they really misuse the term Uncle Tom. Uncle Tom said in Uncle Tom's cabin, he said, you might have killed my body, but my soul is free.
Yeah. And my thing like that is like, you know, with, not to get into the God of religion, but like in my search like that, I feel like we put the classification on life like, damn, you're gonna struggle now, it's gonna be hard while you're living and stuff like that. But when you die, you get the freedom and stuff like that.
Real.
But I feel like we was meant to be free on earth, like we was meant
Right.
to have, you know.
And it's just like that old song. Remember that old song say, I got heaven right here on earth. You know what I'm saying? It's up to us to create it.
Right.
You know, that's why we God's stewards. So everything that God created is up to us to make sure that it stays in existence of the purpose in which He created it for. You know, it's on us, man. We soldiers out here, man. You know, when people try to tell me, hey, I want you to come to church, I say, nah, church ain't for me, man. I ain't got time to sit down, man. I'm the type of soldier that march around Jericho and tear down the walls. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I can't do that in the inside of a building and sit down.
When he told me, you wasn't here the first time I came out here. I think he was at your, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, a lot of times.
Yeah. And I told that nigga I was reading something in this audio Bible, and it's like David had his mighty men, it's like the last chapter, and like one of the songs or something like that. But he had a squad of 30 niggas. Then he had a tight limit of 4 like that. That was like straight up head hunters, like, you know what I'm saying, going toe to toe in battle with him like that. And I feel like, you know what I'm saying, for his calling, like, you gotta surround your people with, you know what I'm saying, like, me, I ain't scared to die. It's like I done been through it.
Yeah.
So it's like, all right, if you kill me, I'm gone. Then you know what I mean. I don't have that fear about, you know, my fear. I think for me that was holding me back was the expectation of others like that. But like once I let that go and I started understanding purposes, and then I, you know, see how it's like us click up like that.
And you know, back when you said about that death situation, like it remind me like when I first accepted my calling, man, I had began to study a little bit of some of everybody. And depending on what lane I was in at the time or what situation I was trying to implement a solution for to solve the issue, it's like my mind automatically went back to that ancestor. Right. And when you talk about death, you know what I'm saying, Michael X said, you know what I'm saying, he said, I don't fear, he said, I died 20 plus years ago. Yeah. So I live every day as if I'm a dead man. You know what I'm saying? So when you accept that you're going to one day die, even milk has an expiration date. Everybody gonna die. So when you get over that fear of death, man, it's nothing that can stop you, man.
That's when you live, man.
It's nothing that can stop you from prospering. Because my overall thing, man, I want to do what I gotta do. So therefore, when it's time for me to meet my destiny, I can be accepted with open arms.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And that's, man, when you accept death.
That's real freedom, man. I think.
Man, you hear me?
I know this shit sound real drastic, but it's like to really like understand your purpose, you gotta think to that extreme.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, man. We gonna a lot of jewels right there, man. A lot of jewels
you a tighter governor. But I didn't make a mistake. I just made a bad decision.
Yeah. Well, until we meet again, man, y'all stay tuned. We got a lot of things coming up. What we supposed to go on this? The St. Louis thing. Louisiana thing got called off.
Yeah, it's next week.
So we're gonna do that next week. Shout out to the Ronald Green family. Yeah. We're gonna keep this thing going until we see y'all again, hear you from y'all again. Sayonara. Peace and blessings. Stay up. Mickey Cartel, Dear Homies and Enemies podcast. We out.